That's the truth. You are the light. And the more that you give, the more that light shows up in our world, the more that light can be shared with others. And the more that the light you share with others, the more light there is. And the more people see that light, the more they're going to make the decision to love, the more they're going to make the decision to give. I want to tell you a little story. It's about a young boy, 10 years old, who went on vacation with his mother, and they went to this beautiful beach, this tropical island. And there's starfish on the beach. He's never seen a starfish before, and he picks it up in his hands, and it looks so beautiful. And he notices that this starfish is alive. And he's showing it to his mom. And in that moment, he looks and he sees that there are thousands and thousands of starfish on the beach. And as he's showing it to his mom, a man walks by and he says, all these starfish will be dead in a couple hours because they're out in the hot sun and they can't live if they're not in the water. So the little boy immediately, carefully carries the starfish out beyond the waves and he places it down in the water. And he runs back and gets another one. And he runs out and places that one in the water. And he's doing this over and over again. And the man says to him, there are thousands and thousands of starfish here. You'll never make a difference. As the boy picks up another starfish and brings it into the water and places it there and says, I made a difference to that one. And instead of questioning that boy, what if that man caught the giving, the compassion, the charity in that act and joined the boy? There'd be even more starfish in the water out of the sun getting another chance at life. And what if there were people, others on the beach perhaps, who saw those two bringing starfish into the water and they came out also to help? How many more would have been saved that day from the hot sun and given another chance at life? Every single act of giving that you perform has a profound effect, and it at least makes a difference in one life. And when somebody sees you doing that and joins in, it's going to make more of a difference. And when they see you doing it together, it's going to make more of a difference. When you bring your friends into this energy of compassion and giving and healing and loving and raising the consciousness, everyone sees it. They may not join in right away. They may continue their story that you'll never make a difference. But don't listen to that story. Be like that little boy who's determined to make a difference in the life of that one starfish that he has in his hand at that moment. Because that act of giving gave life, not only to the starfish, but to the boy as well. And if that man had seen what was happening in the heart of that young man, his excitement of bringing life to that starfish, of being the one to make a difference, then he too could start to make a difference. All you have to do is let go of that story that you're telling, that you can't make a difference. That story that you're telling that little act is not going to do anything. And look at all the problems of the world. What can I do? No. You are making a difference. Every act of kindness. We talked about this last week. What is our religion? Kindness. None of you were here last week? Kindness is our religion. I've learned over the years that there's one truth that has kept me at peace, that has kept my heart full of love, that has given me everything I could ever need and want and more, that has given me the energy and the motivation and the excitement to fulfill my purpose here on earth. this one lesson is that whatever I'm giving it to myself. A Course in Miracles says, all that I give is given to myself. Why is that true? Because we are one. I cannot give but to myself. And that's why we feel so good when we're giving to someone else, when we're praying for someone else, when we're doing kind acts in this world indiscriminately. We're feeling so good because we are giving that gift to ourselves. You don't know what's inside you until you give it away. You don't even know it was there. I forget completely what's in my closet until I open it up on Sunday morning. I forget completely, how much money is in my bank account until I look. I don't know what I have to give until I start giving it to you. Once you start playing that song, that you didn't even know that you even remembered that song and all those lyrics. They're all in there. And all that kindness, all that compassion, and all that love is in you. But you're not going to discover it until you take it out and give it away so that we can take a look at it, so we can feel it, we can experience it. If you're keeping it hidden within you, it's just potential energy. But it's up to you to manifest it, to give it away, and allow it to be manifest in this world as love. That's why helping others is so important. It doesn't just bless them, it blesses us as well. We open ourselves to receive that much more. Every time we give, we're opening the floodgates for the universe to give us more. When we show that we can put it to good use, we're going to be given more of it. If we can humbly receive all the universe has to offer, then we will be ready to give it away. Receive it for yourself. But not for yourself alone, because if you go and hide it in the ground, as the parable says, you're not going to be expanding it, multiplying it. It's not useful for anyone. It's just hidden in your backyard. But if you go and invest it by giving it away to others, you see them thriving. That's why giving is the way to live. Now, the message of Jesus was really very simple. The message of Yeshua. Teach only love, because that's what you are. Forgive others, show compassion, and give. Don't stop giving. He says, if you give, it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That's how it's going to be given to you. For with the same measure that you give, it will be given unto you. So if you're holding on and you're afraid to lose something, you're going to just be stuck there, keeping watch over the little that you have. And you'll never experience all the riches of life. This is just for you. Giving to others gives to you. If you just want to hold on to the little that you have, guess what? It will never expand. You'll never have room for more. But if you give more, it will be given to you in great measure. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Life becomes a waterfall of blessings. Isn't it true? Isn't it wonderful when life is that way? You don't have room enough to receive it all. That's the law of tithing, actually. The law of tithing is that if you bring the full tithe into the storehouse, there'll be enough for everyone. And the kingdom, and it says in the Bible, prove me, says the Lord of hosts, that if you do this, you will be given more than you are able to receive. It will just be flowing to you constantly. And I experience life that way. That there's so much. I'm just swimming in a sea of miracles. And I want you to be that way as well. To experience life as an ongoing experience of miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. So what I'm talking about here is the type of giving that does not look for compensation. What am I going to get out of this? Oh, if I give 10% of my earnings to my spiritual center, what am I going to get out of it? Well, if you're coming from that attitude, then I don't think you're receiving much already, and it's probably not the right place to tithe to. Because you should tithe to the place where you are spiritually fed. You should tithe to those who uplift you. You should tithe to those who are giving to the world. You should tithe to the ones who are picking up the starfish and bringing them into the ocean. Not to the guy who's saying you're not going to make a difference by doing that. So if you have to ask the question, what's in it for me? Do not undergo, do not attempt these spiritual principles just yet. It's time for some education. It's time for some learning. It's time for some experience. Start small. Start with one starfish in your life. Start to give just one little thing to one other person. I'm not asking you to go all the way yet to take that 10% or to take 20% or to give your whole life. Lily always reminds me, whenever I start to get overwhelmed with the responsibility of what I propose here, of being a spiritual person, she says, remember our pact. We've dedicated our lives to truth. Everything that we have or expect to have is dedicated to the purpose of unity, of raising consciousness through the principles of unity. Give and you will receive. There's nothing to fear. Keep giving. Sometimes I'll be carrying a starfish into the sea and I'll look back and see the tens of thousands that are still there, and I think, how can I make a difference? And Lily always reminds me, you made a difference to that one. And so I'm here today to ask you to make a difference to that one. Whoever that is in your life. They'll show themselves. The opportunities will come. Make a difference to that one. Just do the next right thing. One foot in front of the other. One moment at a time. Don't look for compensation. I'm talking about the kind of giving that doesn't care about a return, because you're so joyful carrying that starfish into the ocean. You're so joyful at giving that one blessing that day. It makes you so happy just to do that one thing. So this is the kind of giving the Bible calls charity. It's actually an aspect of love. It's how the King James Version of the Bible characterizes love. It characterizes as charity. So it is in this giving that we receive. Pure, selfless giving. That's charity. Pure, selfless giving is a gift to ourselves as much as it is to those to whom we give. If we look to the original scripture of what this means, I want to read it. We read it at all the weddings, but nobody ever really listens to it. It's not the type of love that we characterize as romantic love. It's the type of love we characterize as charity, giving. And that's why in the King James Version, it's called charity. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I've become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. I'm just talking the talk. I'm not walking the walk. That's what it's saying here. And though I have the gift of prophecy and I understand all mysteries and all knowledge, I'm very spiritual. I understand all the mysteries and all that I have tons of knowledge. I've studied for years. And I have faith. I sit and I have faith and I pray. so that I could remove all mountains. But if I don't have charity, if I'm not giving, you know what it says? I'm nothing. I'm nothing. It doesn't matter. If you're doing it just so that you can put another letter before your name or another certificate on the wall, another degree in your resume, another zero after the numbers in your bank account, then you're nothing. Doesn't matter. There's no energy going out and expanding in the universe. All those other starfish are just laying on the beach. You know what you did? You took the starfish, you took it home, and you stuck it on a shelf, and it dried out there, and you got it there in your bathroom so that everybody can see, look, I have things from the beach in my house. That's what you did. And maybe you've got a whole bunch of them. Maybe you got a whole room full of starfish. But they're all lifeless. There's nothing happening there. Why? Because you took them out of their environment, out of the ocean. You didn't join them. You didn't give. You didn't give it back to the world. And so you get all this accumulation of your prophecies and your understanding and your degrees and your money and all your accumulation of material. But what's in here? Nothing. There's something in there, but you're not aware of it. You're not aware of it when you're not giving it away. When you're giving it away, you see, wow, I'm connected. I'm connected to this. I have given life. When you give life to that one starfish, to that one person, guess what? You remember your life. You remember why you're here. It's an amazing thing. And so I can bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and I can give my body to be burned, but if I don't have charity, it doesn't profit me anything. I don't gain anything from any of that if I'm doing all of this so that I can get something back. If I'm doing all of this so that you'll follow me in whatever I believe, or you'll join me in my religion, or whatever it might be, that's not what we're asking. I just want you to be happy, to be free, to be abundant, to be healed, to be whole, to know your worth, to know your magnificence, to know who you are, to teach only love. I want you to feel the joys of life. I want you to feel that you have it all, that the universe is yours. All of it belongs to you. I want you to feel love so deep in your heart that you never felt before. I want you to feel community. I want you to feel cared for from all directions. I want you to feel safe and cared for. I want you to feel like you're worthy. And I want you to feel it now. Thank you. Some of you are feeling it. Because you are worthy. You are special. And you deserve to be in the ocean. If I see you drying up on the beach without spiritual nourishment, then I'm going to give it to you freely because I've given my life to that purpose. And I'm not asking you to do that just yet. All I'm asking is that you pay attention to what's happening in the relationship of that starfish to that little boy. Pay attention to that relationship and what's going on within the heart of the one who gives. And instead of saying, you'll never make a difference, ask yourself, how can I make a difference? Ask yourself, how can I do the same thing? And join in. Join in. Do the next right thing. Just take that one starfish and give it a gift. Now listen to me. Nobody has ever become poor by giving. Ever. You always get more. So challenge yourself to give a little more. Challenge yourself to give a little more today, this week, this month. Challenge yourself. I don't care where you give. People always are saying, well, you're accusing me of, I need to give all my money to the church or the spiritual. First of all, we're a spiritual center. And that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you to open yourself up to receive. And the only way I found to open myself up to receive is to give. And it's been amazing. What an amazing journey that we have been on and continue to be on. I want to give some examples. Unity on Cape Cod, for instance. We're a pretty small community in comparison to some others. But I estimate, by sitting in on the finance committee every month, that we have donated over $15,000 in 2022 to other organizations. That's only 10% of what we're taking in. It's over 15,000. There's a book in the back. I was going to bring it up here. Could somebody grab that for me, the thank you book? We give to many organizations. We tithe to other organizations because they inspire us through their giving. Thank you, Joanne. Right on the front, it says, many thanks, a beautiful picture. It's from an organization called Calmer Choice, that some of you know about in our community, which teaches mindfulness to young children in schools. Now, I don't know if it was the Dalai Lama or one of those guys said if you taught meditation to every 8-year-old, we would end war in our world within 3 generations. So this organization, it's not meditation, but it's mindfulness, is teaching children how to be mindful of their emotions, of their words, of their actions, how they're interacting with their environment, how they experience themselves and each other, and make a calmer choice about how they're living. And so we give regularly to them, and we have many thank you notes from them. From Unity Worldwide in the Eastern region, which are our parent organizations. I have one right on the front here from the International Rescue Committee, which was another $4,000 we raised for the Ukrainian refugees. So that's on top of that. So we've given over $20,000 to, if you want to know where your donations are going to organizations that have inspired us by their giving. Unity of Central Mass. We always try to include some of our local Unity churches, our spiritual centers. Unity on the river. Unity in a couple of them in Connecticut, in Hartford, in Norwalk, in Rhode Island. So those are some of our local friends that we like to support, or keeping the unity message alive. We give to, I got a lot from Calmer Choice here, the Council of Churches, which help a lot of people, all the people kind of who are struggling in our communities, or our group of churches in our area, which are involved with the Council of Churches. The Family Food Pantry, the Veterans Food Pantry, the Children's Cove, Housing Assistance Corporation, Flower Angels, Wild Care, Veterans Outreach, I already said them. The Baby Center, Independence House, and the list goes on. We are connected to givers, people who are giving in our community. We like to give to them. We are like the man who noticed the little boy who's giving the starfish and decided to join in, bringing the starfish into the ocean as well. Instead of saying, isn't that nice? I'm so glad they're doing all that good work in our community. And not helping and supporting them. So I'll tell you a couple of other things, is that I tried to measure how much poundage, how much weight Bruce was carrying and Dolores carrying out to their cars from the food that we like to put in the box in the foyer that we donate to food pantries. And I've estimated that it was 1/2 ton of food in 2022. And maybe a little more. So between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds of food is given to food pantries just by putting one item in that box, everybody. Every time you go shopping, getting a couple of items for the food pantry. It all adds up, and it goes a long way. And that's just the physical part of it. That doesn't even mention the spiritual food that we are giving out. You can't measure that in pounds. The spiritual food that we are offering each week and all through the week. And I invite you all to go to our websites and look at all the videos and find out more about Unity on Cape Cod and join in. Give of yourself, you will receive. You don't have to try to bring every starfish into the water just yet. But come on in. Just wade in the water yourself. See how nice it is. And then you'll be inspired, perhaps, to bring another starfish in with you. One of our, some of us are basketball fans here. Jack's one of them. I hear him talking about what happened in the Celtics game last week. You remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Yeah, you remember him because his Lakers always beat our Celtics. Except for once. Not always. But enough times that I remembered. We could have had 2 or 3 more championships if it wasn't for him. You want to attribute it all to Magic Johnson, but he was dishing the ball to Kareem. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 4 championships with the Lakers. He just recently sold every one of his championship rings and 3 of his MVP trophies. Put it up for auction, received $2.8 million, and gave it all to educate children. And this is what he said. When it comes, isn't that wonderful? Yeah. But this is what he said about it. When it comes to choosing between storing a championship ring or a trophy in a room or providing kids with the opportunity to change their lives, the choice is pretty simple. Sell it all. How many trophies are you storing up? Yeah, you laugh. Because you know that we do it. We want to store up that good instead of giving it away. The choice is pretty simple. Give it away. He was able to change the lives of a lot of kids, send a lot of kids to college with $2.8 million. Another guy, Pete Cadence. Multimillionaire, successful businessman from Ohio. Made a lot of money in cannabis. He paid the tuition, room and board, books, and all the fees to the whole graduating class of the high school in Jessup, the Wakeman Jessup Scott High School in Toledo. And the offer applied to all of their parents. He wanted to send all of them to college if they want to go too. Now the cool thing is it's not just 1 year of college, it's for the whole 4 or 4.5 years that you're going to be there. And he didn't stop there. Cadence also said that there was one stipulation, one request he had from all of them, that no one call it a gift. That it was his responsibility. Yes, he was a successful business person. Yes, he worked hard for it. But he said, I grew up never having to worry about whether I was going to college or not. My parents had plenty of money. They paid for it. I had no roadblocks to my education. I had no roadblocks to getting into business. I had nobody refusing me loans because of the color of my skin. I had no subpar education ever along the way. I grew up in a privileged society. And so it is my responsibility to give back. It's not a gift. It's just me paying it forward from what I had been given. It's his responsibility. Isn't that wonderful? Billionaire Ken Langone, or Langone, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I would say Langone, but it might be Langone. He donated $100 million to help pay the tuition for every New York University medical student that year. And he helped raise an additional $350 million for this program. So $450 million to make medical school tuition free for everyone in that class. It took him 11 years to raise the money. So he kept going. It made a difference to that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. You don't stop at the first starfish that you put in the sea. You keep going. It took him 11 years to raise the money. But the philanthropist said recently that the endowment now can offer free tuition to every student. And it's a gift worth more than $200,000. It's expensive to go to medical school. Many of them would not have been able to pay for it. And so he hopes that his donation would inspire the students to give back to their community in a similar way. He said, I think about the mindset of a young person who's receiving, saying, somebody did something for me. Now I've got to do something for someone else. He says that's a big thing. Every expression of giving, every expression of charity will lead to more good in the world. No matter how small it is, it's going to make a difference to that one. So you can count on me. You can count on each of us here from this day forward. Just take that next starfish, put it in the water. And remember always how blessed you are. So get out there and be a blessing. Okay? I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityonCapeCod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.